Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today, if you guys, is another movie review. Today we're tackling Mission Impossible 5, aka Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. I know it's been a hot minute since I did Ghost Protocol. I'm sorry, I had a lot of schoolwork, a lot of whatever, but we're here. But yeah, so this is the 5th film out of the 7 that we have so far. This is the first one that introduces Ilsa Faust, which I kept calling her Elsa, but it's Ilsa, I-L-L or whatever. It's not Elsa from Frozen, all that. But she's a good character in this, and then of course you get the villain Solomon Lane. It looks really freaking weird, just a weird looking dude. And then they said, alright, you're going to be the villain, and then, you know, I haven't watched 6 Fallout yet, but in that movie, you know, he's the villain, and I guess he's one of the villains in that movie. So he kind of, you know, by the way, spoilers if you haven't seen this, but, you know, but he gets away, obviously, because he's in the 6. But it's kind of cool, you know, this is like the first time they're really kind of, you know, setting up a villain. That's not just, oh, I die in that one, or oh, I get put in jail, or whatever happens there. It's kind of a very unique, different kind of angle for this, you know, franchise. We also have some really good action scenes. Of course, you know, when I say action, there's not a whole lot of, like, fist fighting, so to speak. There's a few fight scenes in there, but really there's a car chase, there's a motorcycle chase, there's an underwater scene where, you know, Ethan Hunt is kind of holding his breath for, I think, 7 minutes or something. He like freaking passes out, and he also has to go in there and save him and all that, and that's really intense stuff there. It's kind of funny, you know, because right after he almost, well, I think he does die, and then they like bring him back to life or whatever. He immediately gets on a freaking motorbike and just starts chasing the bad guys and Elsa, I guess. But it's a good scene, you know, some good stuff. Benji Dunn is back. He's good, as always. So I thought he was going to blow up, so that's good he didn't. I think this is the movie where he's really starting to click. He's not just, oh, I'm funny in the chair, and oh, I get to wear a mask, yay! You know, like he's actually doing something. He did do stuff in the other films, but this one just feels a little bit more unique and a little bit more personal, I guess, because we've seen a lot of him now. William Brandt is back. I believe it's William Brandt. Brandt, you know, Jeremy Renner's character. He's in this. He's fine. He doesn't do a whole lot. He's fine. I do think I don't believe he's in 6 or 7 because of the MCU. You know, for Hawkeye and all that shit. So he's effing gone. I think I don't know what happened to him. Maybe like this. Oh, he dies in 6. Again, I haven't seen 6, so don't ruin it for me. I'm gonna get to that very soon. But he's you know fine. But really, the star of the show here are the stunts, the action scenes. There's really good stuff with like this opera, and Ethan's like, you know, apparently people were saying like the action is like. You know, timed to something. I didn't get that. I didn't really pay attention, or it didn't really like boom. It didn't hit me like, oh wow, it's timed. You know, like when I think of a timed action scene, I think of like Kingsman. You know, where Harry's like, you know, timing the gunshot to that, and the church scene. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. This is good, and it was intense, and there's a lot of things going on, but I myself didn't see that. Maybe it is there, and I just, you know, didn't notice it. But it's got, again, really good car chases, some good comedy in there, a good, awesome motorcycle chase. Again, that underwater thing's really cool. And the big stunt that they kind of, you know, promoted in this film as, you know, Ethan or Tom Cruise, I guess, is crazy enough to kind of latch himself onto a freaking giant-ass plane and hold the side of it as it literally takes off the runway, still holding on. That's like the first 2 minutes of the movie. I paused it. It was I think it was like 2 or 3 minutes in. He's doing that, and of course that is, you know, linked to the rest of the film, being the, you know, the Syndicate and all that. Not Assassin's Creed Syndicate, the game, but you know what I mean. The Syndicate is like the you know, bad guy group in this film, and we get some stuff where Tom Hollander, I think, recently he was interviewed and he's like, oh, I got Tom Holland's paycheck. Like $16 trillion or whatever. I'm watching this movie, and he's the prime minister, I believe. He's like the head of Syndicate. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, that dude looks familiar. I'm like, who is this guy? And I didn't Google it, but I just know he's from Pirates of the Caribbean. He's freaking the guy from Dead Man's Chest and At World's End. He's the Beckett, Lord Cutler. I think it's Cutler Beckett, I think. He's the main bad guy. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's kind of funny that they kind of have him in there, and I think that's kind of a cool feature. It's a cool feature. It's a cool, you know, thing to have him. So I'm like, oh, I know that guy. He's from that. It was kind of funny. But overall, again, Alec Baldwin's in this. Lock him up. So I'm not saying that. You know, he's fine though. He does a good job in this. Again, you know, it's not too bad. There's some good stuff in there, but really, the main stuff that you really have to take notice of is the action, which is really good. The you know, the fight scenes, which are good. Like I said, that the fight scenes and the action I kind of cut in half, because the action I would count as like the car chase and the motorcycle chase, and then there's the stunts and all that, which again, the plane thing, the underwater thing, Really good stuff there. And then you also kind of have this overarching villain plot where he kind of kills this girl and like puts Ethan in like a box and kind of like, you know, makes him unconscious and all that. And that's when we get introduced to Ilsa and all that. But it's a cool end for the character. I'm not I know I said spoilers, but I'm not going to say what happens to him. But he's in 6, you know, he's in Fallout, the next one, because he's in the trailer. But, you know, it is kind of cool what they do to him in the end where you know, he doesn't really die, obviously, because like I said, he's in the next one. But there's something that happens and I was like, ooh, that's cool. I like that. It was pretty sick, you know what I mean? Pretty cool stuff. But it's kind of hard to review these because it's like, you know, we're at that point where like these are really good now. Like the action is stellar, the cinematography is great, the CGI is really good, nothing stands out weird like that, nothing woke, no bad writing stuff, you know, the new characters like Ilsa Faust are really good, Benji is even better than ever, Luther Stickles in it, the villain isn't maybe as good as Philip Seymour Hoffman's character in Mission Impossible 3, but he does the job. You know, I mean, he's good enough. He's fine. Like I said, they had him in the second one for a reason, or the sixth one for a reason. It is kind of weird because I don't know, like something about his chin, he just looks like a villain. You know what I mean? Like, all these guys, they just look like villains. Ghost Protocol, I guess, because he's the villain from John Wick 1, but you know what I mean. He's a good villain. He's fine. Like I said, none of these villains are, beside maybe Mission Impossible 3, which I think is a really good villain, none of them are like stellar written villains, but this one was pretty good, pretty believable, and it's cool that he's going to be returning in the next one, which is pretty awesome. Again, I'll be watching that soon. But as far as negatives, I really don't have that many. I mean, you know, the underwater thing is cool, and it's cool that Tom Cruise and Rebecca Ferguson had to do that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, yeah, a lot of it was bogged down by CGI. I know that was kind of a criticism in 6 as well, with like the Halo jump or whatever they do, but it's not bad. It just kind of takes you out a little bit when like you see this giant, you know, CGI crane, you know, hit him, he's freaking out or whatever. It's fine. Again, I'm kind of scrounging for negatives here because I genuinely can't think of that many. It's a really fun action film. Maybe not as memorable as like 3, for example. I still think 3 is the highest so far, and just myself. You know, and when I think of fight scenes and action, there's not a whole lot of that. There's some, again, during that opera scene, but really a lot of the action in this film is basically, you know, kind of like 4, where it's the car chase, the motorcycle chase, the stunts, the crazy things that go on. And that is what differs itself from other, you know, action franchises, like, say, Kingsman, for example, or Argyle, which is a Kingsman film, but you know what I'm saying. They're kind of different in that, which is kind of cool. I kind of, you know, I respect that for sure. And it's a fun movie. It's got some really funny moments, good action, you know, pretty good story, nothing really odd and confusing like that was in Mission Impossible 1. So that's good. We're kind of past the confusing plot points in that. None of these are bad. I would say 2 is still my least favorite, and 3 is my favorite still, but 5 is really good. I think the villain is more memorable than 4. I do think that these set pieces are really good. Again, the really good car chase, man, but like it gets really close up to the camera and all that, like the front of the car. Really good stuff. Great filmmaking, great editing, very high tension, a lot of, you know, edge of your seat moments for sure, like when Ethan's trying to take out the guy during the opera scene or whatever. Really good stuff, and of course it does end on a pretty good note, but again, it does kind of leave the door open for, alright, they have this, something happens to the villain, so where are we going to go from there, and what's going to happen next? So yeah, really good stuff. Again, I can't think of too many negatives. I had a lot of fun with it. Maybe it isn't as memorable. I don't want to say that's a negative. You know, it's not like, oh, the writing was shit, or oh, the acting was really bad, or the CGI was terrible in this one scene. There's nothing really like shockingly bad about it, you know what I mean? It's a really good action movie. My kind of action is stuff like Kingsman and Marvel or Star Wars, where there's a lot of fist fighting and, you know, gunfights and knife fights and all that. I kind of like that a little more. That's more exciting to me than like a car chase or a motorcycle chase. But what makes it so good here is the cinematography, is the writing, the acting, the music, the stunts, the fact that Tom Cruise is, you know, stupid effing crazy enough to do this kind of stuff himself really makes you go, oh wow, you know, this is really happening. For the most part, of course, he's not actually, you know, gonna get smacked by a crane or whatnot, you know, but I mean, a lot of it is real, which is really cool, and I'm glad they kind of did that for real. So I can't wait to continue with Mission Impossible 6 Fallout. Again, don't ruin it. Don't tell me in the comments what happens. I've seen the trailers. I kind of know what's up. I know there's a really awesome, badass bathroom fight, but I'm excited to watch that unfold for myself. Again, I have that review very soon. Apologies again for not getting this out sooner. I wanted to, but stuff happens. It's hard to watch a 2.5 hour long movie or whatever when you got a butt ton of homework, but we're going to do it, and I'm going to pull through, and I got 2 more left, and then we're going to move on on to some other stuff as well. Again, I got the MCU rewatch coming up, the Spider-Man game reviews. I'm going to finish up Lego Star Wars 2 and move on to Lego Batman 3. So I got a lot of awesome stuff to come up in the channel. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe. Again, we're almost to 2,000, just about halfway to 2,000 subs, so that's pretty cool. And I can't wait to continue this awesome franchise with Mission Impossible Fallout. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.